What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about 3 different coins today. We'll be starting it off with Filecoin for Mr. JG Aesthetics, and then moving on from there, we'll be talking about Compound and GFI GoldFinch for Mr. Low and Hers or Mrs. Low and Hers. Your profile picture has a male, so I would think you're a Mr., but maybe you're not. Anyways. Let's get on with this TA. If anybody has any requests, feel free to leave them in the comments. You can join the Discord too and leave requests there. I will leave a link in the description. Right now, this whole chart, it's really not like super new. It's a little bit older than most cryptos, but this whole chart is kind of like a double bottom, right? I've heard a lot of people recently, like a lot of big accounts, kind of giving up on Filecoin and like saying like negative things about it. When I hear that, like by default, I would assume if the big accounts are saying this, then most like the masses are thinking this too. So I would think that man, my eye is red. I don't know why. It might be the shirt making it pop. I don't know. But enough about me, man. What I'm trying to say is that whenever I hear things like this, just inherently I'm like, oh man, could it go up? Like, it might be a good time to buy if everybody's discounting it and people are saying bad things. It's like whenever you hear somebody say, man, this thing is pumping right now. It's pumped 1,000% in the last week. You got to get in. It's the time to go. And then it drops, right? As soon as everybody starts talking about it, that's whenever it dumps, right? Well, same kind of ideology, but to the downside. When everybody's given up on it, maybe it is worth giving up on. Maybe it doesn't do a higher high over the cycle. Maybe it does a lower high, but I would bet that you see some upside just based on the overall sentiment on it right now anyways. And you are kind of in like this double bottom look territory, right? You're kind of in a phase of accumulation that last time sent you from here all the way up to $237 technically. So and your RSI is technically stronger this time. But looking at the weekly here, a rejection off your overbought zone, and that didn't stop you. You're continuing. You're almost in your overbought zone. You have 18 hours and 53 minutes left. If you can close here or a little bit higher, that would be really nice, because then you are in your overbought zone. You get rid of that bearish divergence. You have volume. I mean, it looks good. It looks rather good, right? You're up 10% this week overall. You do have kind of not a Darth Maul candle, but it's like the opposite, right? Whoever's got the double green lightsaber, I don't know who that would be. Gandalf? No. So top to bottom here, 236 resistance, 069 support. Kind of got an Adam and an Eve even right here. It's kind of cool. I know it's not too obvious, but you got your Adam there and then your Eve, and now you look like you're breaking out. Not really. I don't know if I like that as an Adam and Eve, but it kind of has that look. And then overall too, you zoom out, you have that same kind of look, right, with this like overall pattern as well. I would think you go higher. I think when you see this price at about $7, you're probably going to break through and go up, almost do a 2x there, go up to about $14. And I would bet that you go above this 382. You could find support maybe even at the $17 area. Previous areas, I said support, I meant resistance. Previous areas of support here, previous areas of support here. And a previous area of resistance right there at 17.20. So yeah, a little bit above $17 might be in the cards for this thing in the near term. Near term does not mean tomorrow. It could, but I would think more like in the months to come, probably after December. But it could happen before December. It is possible. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Daily, looking strong on your daily RSI. I really do like this RSI a lot. Yeah. I really do, actually. I think it does go higher, man. Yeah, 4 hour looks good too. You went oversold, you double bottomed off it. You didn't really get that oversold, but you are getting pretty overbought, and you have no problem staying above the 50. I like this, man. I think it does. I think it wants to go higher. This little wick, count it as a blessing right now, because really what you did was you broke out. You're back at the previous areas of resistance, and you're finding support there. You're holding it, right? Like, let's draw a line here. Let's just see, yeah, support right there, previous resistance there. You had support here even, looking like you were trying to get above it, but you didn't. I think that's all the relative term stuff. So yeah, I like it, man. I think it goes up higher. I think I've spent enough time talking about this. Where's it going to go? Again, you're at 5.7 cents about right now. You probably go, I would think, anywhere from about 14 cents, maybe just below 14 cents, but probably above it. I said 14 cents. I'm sorry, $14. Every time I've said cents, I've meant dollars. I'm sorry. You're at $5.68 right now. I would think you go anywhere from about $14, maybe just below it, to potentially just above $17. I think you're going to do that. That's kind of your next move. And again, I don't know if I expect that to happen by the end of this month, though I would expect it to happen over the coming months probably. And it could happen a lot faster. I like to be conservative with my. I'd rather expect it happens in 2 months and see it happen tomorrow or the next day than call for it to happen tomorrow or the next day and then it really happens in 2 months. It's better to be surprised to the upside than to expect it and not get it. But that's enough of Filecoin. Let's move on to Compound. Compound USD here on the weekly. Haven't talked about Compound in a while, and I think I don't know if it was you, Lowenhers. It might have been you. Maybe it was someone else that was asking what my thoughts are for the long term for Compound, because I haven't been talking about it that much, right, guys? I talked about it a lot, like back here, and a little bit throughout this, but I haven't really been talking about it that much. Why? Because it's been boring. There's not. It's fair to say on this weekly here, we've been in the same price range really for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks now, over a month and a half, basically like a month and a half. Arguably even longer than that, right? We've just been doing rather like nothing for like years now. I do think that we're in a grand kind of accumulation phase, and when we do decide to break out, it's going to be fantastic. I absolutely, for those of you who are new, because I know I have a lot of new subscribers in this last month. Thank you all, by the way. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I have $8,000, $8,800 price targets for Compound, and here we are sitting at $52.51, and I know that sounds insane. I know it does. Do I have other? Let me see. No, Coinbase is fine. So if we take the top here on a fib basis, just to get the long-term views into effect, top to bottom here on your fib, you went up to your 382, found a little resistance. You are struggling to get above that 236. When you do get above, when you have a month or a week that closes above $55.14, it's time to start getting excited, because we really might be breaking out of this accumulation zone when you see that. We've been held down by this 236 for a very long time, right? And just because we get above it like we did here, like we did here, like we did here on a closing basis, doesn't mean that we're going to go immediately. We could, continue to wrestle it as we have, but it's reason to get excited at least, And the fact that we've done it a few times, I would think we're getting close. We're overdue to finally get this break. And obviously, we could find resistance at this 382 level, around $100, but we might just go straight up to the 61869 level. Like, I really do. When you have a hard crash down like this, and you consolidate and you accumulate for literally over a year, like at this point it's like a year and a half, I would think that the reaction out of this is going to be just as explosive to the downside, or just as explosive to the upside as it was to the downside, maybe even more so. But enough about that. Going to the extensions here, if this sees new all-time highs, which I very much do think Compound's going to see new all-time highs by the end of this cycle, that would put it at a minimum price of $2,500 at the 1272. And why I say minimum is because this is the fib extension range. The 1272 to 1618 kind of box here is like your expected zones. It could go higher, it could go lesser, but the odds, more or less, especially if you get a positive reaction in this white zone here, the odds of seeing this are very, very likely. And breaking out to new all-time highs, it's very likely that you would at least see your 1272. But your 1886 is all the way up here at $8,886. We could see a near $10,000 price by the end of this cycle for Compound. If we go here, comp over here on CoinGecko, we look at the market cap, it's worth let's call it $361 million. Yeah, 361. What kind of growth would that be overall? I know I've got a lot of lines here. Let's just say $10,000. Let's go all the way up. Let's do it. Maybe just below, something like that. That would be a 190x, 100 and almost 91x actually. So hold on real quick. Google calculator. We do 361 million, right? 361, come on now, times, what was it? 190, right? We'll just say 191. We'll round up. 191 would equal a $68.9 billion, almost a $69 billion market cap, right? Because we're in millions, so when you see thousands, doing the math, right? Because I didn't type in million, I didn't type in all the zeros. I know math, right? And it shouldn't be hard to conclude that when you're dealing with millions, you see thousands, those millions now become billions. So this 68,900 is really $68,951,000,000 market cap if we were to see a $10,000 price, more or less, right? And I rounded up, so probably a little bit less than that. But yeah, that kind of market cap is high. It's high, and not all cryptos achieve it, but it's doable. There are plenty of cryptos that have achieved it. You know, above $100 billion, especially for something that's as new as this, I don't know if I see that happening. But for something that has a lot of excitement around it, there's a lot of volume that came in, very nice kind of like accumulation phase for a long time here. Like, I don't know, man. I've got high hopes for Compound. I really do. I think it's going to steal the show at various points in this cycle. And the fact that you came down so hard, man. Like, if we had a chart like this, but it was to the opposite effect, and you went up like this and you plateaued, it's safe to assume that we would see a pretty hard correction, right? If not all the way back, at least like a pretty fast correction to the downside. So even if it doesn't go all the way up here, like, you're still going to see a significant, like a really crazy move in a very short amount of time whenever it does go up. So all that to say, man, that's the long-term stuff for Compound. But the short-term stuff, I really like this weekly RSI structure, higher lows, higher highs. You are above the 50. You're getting rejected off of the 60 area, which isn't necessarily encouraging, but I would think the next time you come up here, you're probably going to break through it. And that, when we get above the 60 on this weekly RSI, you guys, my RSI, by the way, is set to 10. Okay, it's a little bit quicker than most. I don't know what most people do. The standard, like default, is set to 14, but I moved mine to 10. I find it's a lot more helpful. If you go to 14 here, it just looks like this. So instead of rejecting off the 60, the bullish area of control, you're rejecting off of the 56. You know, but whatever works for you. You know, if it works for you, it works for you. But anyways. I would think that when we get above the 60 the next time that we attempt it, we will get above it, and that could be the start of this onslaught to the upside that I was just talking about, right? On the daily here, neutral, but with a bullish look, right? You are hanging out above the 50 for sure. You broke out of this structure, this kind of ascending structure, but you didn't continue with it, right? So this is kind of a bullish look in itself. You could come down a little bit. Compound, again, has been very boring, so seeing it come down and just wrestle this zone might not be too unpredictable at all. You know, it could come. It's at $52 right now. It could go all the way down to $47 again. It could go lower. Maybe it goes all the way back to $40. That's totally possible. Right now, my bias would be to the upside, I suppose. 4 hour looks kind of good. I would be up to the upside, and I just think, you know, we're grinding out this area, this like $55 area, and when we close above that, you guys, when we get some, maybe not days but weeks and months to close above that, I think that's going to be the signal. That's going to be like the start of this overall. And then there's one more thing to like watch out for like the bullish side. Closing above this 3, we've been above this 382 for a while. I would say getting above this 236, which also, like if we put a line there, right there, that's the 236. Previous area of support, previous areas of resistance. If we get above $63 on a closing basis too, on a day or on a week or on a month, any of those, obviously the higher the time frame, the better. I would assume we are going to see some serious upside as well. That's kind of like the more, I would say, more significant. And I know that this is a whole range. Some people might be like, well, wouldn't it be the most significant to close above that? I suppose so. But really what I would say is that this move here was kind of a fake out, okay? So really, like in respects to this range, I personally feel like this line here is more significant. You can see we have multiple closing weeks around here, wicks that wick off of this, little bit of support back here even, you know. So, you know, I think that this is more of a level to get us excited than this will be. Obviously, we're going to be a lot happier. All the compound bulls will be happier when it's above $77 than we will be whenever it's above 63. But this, I think that this is all the reason you would need to be excited. First is $55, right around there, a little bit above that would be nice. A little bit of reason to believe that this overall move can be starting, but the real kicker is going to be this $63 level, so watch for that. All that to say, man, I'm bullish on compound in the short term. You got higher lows, higher highs coming in. You're probably going to get ready to set another higher high here, and yeah, long term, I'm very bullish, man. I think it's been boring for a long time. It's the things, man, a lot of people in crypto have heard about compound. It hasn't been around for a while, but there's a lot of people that have heard about it. Maybe they haven't given it a chance, maybe they haven't looked into it, and why would you? Everything's popping off, and this thing has been boring for a year and a half, man. I love stuff like that because it's like you know about it, but you're not paying attention to it. Next thing you know, this thing will be worth $200 something. You're gonna be like, wait, it was just worth $40 like a month ago. Like why? Like it's all the way up here now, and it'll move just like that because it did that on the way down, accumulated, hasn't really seen any major corrections. The first like resistance zone is all the way up here at 171. If we take a significant fib from the top to the bottom here, I know I've got a bunch of lines on here, but your 618 to 69 is all the way up here above $200 even. So, I mean, and the 382 right here at previous areas of support, that's at least around $100. Here you are sitting at $52. You're going to see phenomenally fast movements soon enough. And when I say soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe 2 months from now. Be patient. We are in the accumulation zone still. Look for that $63 to give. Look for this 55, the 236 to break first. But enough of that. Enough of compound. Let's finish this bad boy up with, is it GFI? What is it? Yeah, GFI. GoldFinch. GFI USD. There we go. Well. I wonder if this is a Raven coin spinoff. It's the Golden Raven. I don't know. I really don't know. This thing's been around since 2022. Yes, maybe more. No, that's good. Okay. I want to double check, just triple check real quick. Is it on Coin Gate? All right. It all looks like it came out around the same time. So we're gonna go with that. Maybe Uniswap has something else to say. Nope, we're not going to use that. So, looking at this thing, for well over a year, almost 2 years, it's done nothing but go straight down. Kind of a curve, right? Kind of a curve here, and then bullish reaction. Yes, a lot of volume came in. I'm not convinced that this thing is worth putting money into. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we're gonna figure it out together here. Let's see. Nope, I didn't mean to draw that. I don't know if I want to take it from the top there. The fib from the top there, personally. I mean, price opened all the way down here and it made it all the way up here, but this is first day mania. I don't know. We'll see if it respects the fibs, but I personally don't normally like, especially on the first day, I don't like taking fibs from there because I feel like that's like wacky price action. Okay, but hey, what do you know? Kind of finding resistance right there at the 382, previous area of support over here. This back here again doesn't really count on the fibs. It's nice to see it line up, but don't take that into like too much seriousness or into consideration because the anchor is drawn here, which means that all this stuff happened before the actual low to this fib range was connected. So finding resistance at the 382, you might come down to your 236. It looks like you want to come down, find support there, and then maybe you can go up. I would expect that personally. You got very overbought on your RSI, and it serves you right. You've done nothing but downside. Finally, you show some life, and yeah, you're gonna get a strong reading on your RSI. From low to high, up 550%, not bad. Volumes there, it looks good. Definitely a solid breakout. To check back to, let me just see real quick. To your 236, that is a previous area of resistance here, previous area of support. That wouldn't be too crazy at all. That kind of makes sense to me. Overall, bullish structure in your RSI. I really do like the daily as well, actually. I just think it does go down. From here, probably does go down. Looks like it wants to go down, probably into the oversold zone. I would think, again, let's see, where would that take you? 236 is around 93 cents. Maybe you go a little bit lower than that. It's possible. Let's just see real quick if anything else lines up with that. Relative low to high. Again, you can take the absolute low over here, but sometimes taking the relative low, and oftentimes enough even, I would say that's more significant. 96 cents, 96.55 right here, and we're looking for that 93 cent zone. It is very common to go a little bit below your 382, so you really could see that something around there might make sense, honestly. On a strong move like this, finding support on your 382, very common before going deeper. So right now I think this thing wants to go down. In the meantime, probably very soon, probably by the end of this month, it'll be down around there. Maybe by the end of next week, it'll be down there. Maybe tomorrow, who knows? But you know, assuming, let's just say it goes to 93 cents. Okay, I think it goes lower than that, but let's assume it does. You'd be earmarked for a move that would take you above $2.27 if it came down that low, and then potentially even above $3. So. And generally with moves like this, after a long period of coming down, a little bit of accumulation, you see this pop. You tend to get kind of like a copycat move. I feel like measuring it from here, not from this low, even though that's where I measured the fib from, this is kind of where your move like really started to take off, right? You would kind of like compare it and you get like an ABC move up. It's not an ABC, but it essentially would be like a bull flag. That's, you know, so that's the same kind of way that you'd measure it here. You take your pole, you put it at the base of the flag, wherever that comes in, and then boom, you got your measure move. And maybe it goes lower, you know, who knows? But yeah, it looks good. In the more immediate term, I think it goes down. So if there was a loser between these three, in the more immediate term, I would say it's probably GoldFinch, probably. If there was a winner, it might be Filecoin, man. It might be Compound. Both of those things, you know, they're in their accumulation phases right now. They haven't popped yet. So if I was wanting to put money into something, it would probably be one of those. Obviously, I would probably choose Compound over Filecoin personally, but watch Filecoin do tremendously better. I'm biased because I already have money in Compound. So, and I do believe it'll do better overall. But let's just see here. Filecoin. I mean, hey, that's a 140x at a minimum if it goes to new all-time highs, and that would be a lot higher. What's the market cap for Filecoin? Oh yeah, it's way too high. 3 billion. Yeah, you're not going to see 100x with this thing, man. I don't know about that. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you go to that 1272, man. Yeah, because that would be a 146x. I don't know if you see that, because that would put you over $300 billion, right? Yeah, I don't know if I buy into that narrative for Filecoin. Though to be completely fair, it's been around since 2017. It's kind of OG, right? It doesn't have bad structure overall. It's not like the most bullish. It's kind of weird, but it leaves the door open for higher highs. The minimum extension would be here, but it also leaves the door open. You know, it could see a lower high in this cycle. It absolutely could see a lower high. So even going up to the 61869 area, that's like a 10x there. So that's still pretty good. Maybe it does double top, maybe it doesn't, but I would doubt that it goes up this high unless there's a significant burn where the supply drops a lot and it can achieve that price while not maintaining a really high market cap. Then I could see that happening. But all in all, with Filecoin right now, the way it is, how everyone's giving it a lot of flack and not having faith in it, watch it pump. Watch it go from $5.63 all the way up to $14 really soon, or $17 as I was first projecting. But Compound, in my opinion, is probably the winner, if I really had to guess. Maybe in the immediate term, Filecoin does perform better, but I think overall, Compound's going to whoop ass on this thing. So that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. And just remember, I can be wrong. I've been wrong before, man. Yes, I've kind of been hitting them out of the park recently. I've been getting some good calls here and there, but you know, you go on hot streaks, you go on cold streaks. Like nobody is right forever, and nobody is wrong forever. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about painting an idea, right, based off of historical significance, and then if that idea is wrong, what's really important is not being right or wrong. What's really important is being able to shift your opinion and own. I promise you, knowing how to be wrong is worth way more than being able to be right, because anybody can be right and watch it go up and make money. But there's a few of us out there who can be wrong, lose money, and not lose our ass. You lose a little bit of money. That's where risk management is really the thing to flex on. I know it's not as sexy. I know it doesn't appeal, man, but risk management is the real flex. And that's And that's all I'm trying to say here is like I can be wrong. I can be wrong. And that's okay. It's completely okay. But I don't think I'm wrong. I do, obviously I would assume that I'm going to be right, but I can be wrong. I don't know. So if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day, a good night, and I've said this in my last video, I'm going to say it in this one. Drink some water. You know you need to. It's good for you. It's really... Drink some spring water. Spring water with minerals in it, not distilled water. Get some spring water. Anyways, bye-bye.